Well, good morning, everyone. It's Lori McGuire, and I am coming live from Laguna Niguel. I love books, so I thought, you know what? I'm going to do a couple of Facebook Live videos on some of the great books that I read. So maybe that will help you so you don't have to read all these books. I'll just give you like the fine points of them. So the book today that I'm covering is called Unsubscribe. And if you're like me, you are extremely busy with emails. Emails are just coming at you left and right. First of all, you have emails like from clients, from other people in your business. Then you have spam emails. I mean, you have so many. I can have 400 emails a day, 500 emails. I mean, it's just so crazy. So what I did, and this was not a part of the book, but I did this a while back. I saw this service called Sane Later. So it's SANE Later. It puts all your, what they think might be junk emails into an area where you could sort them out and you could put them in your inbox, or you can put them in the Sane black box, which is like that goes into, like, you'll never see those type of emails again. A black hole. It's a Sane black hole. Or you distribute them to Sane Next Week, so if you don't want to see them until next week, or Sane Tomorrow, or so it's actually a really good service and it saves a lot of time. But in regards to the book, there were key points that a lot of them I kind of knew. I used to check my emails constantly, but then I realized what a disruption that is throughout the day. And they were saying, I think the average worker, office worker, checks their emails. In fact, I wrote it down, 74 times per day. Can you believe that? 74 times a day. And just think about how that takes away from their efficiency at work. But I know that, like, even my team, we're getting emails all the time, but I think the most efficient way of doing business is if you have blocks of time where you check your email. So I always tell my clients and my team members, I am not checking my emails all the time. The quickest way to get a response from me is text messages. And even with that, if I'm on an appointment, I definitely turn my phone on silence because I show respect to the person I'm in front of. So I may not respond to text messages immediately, but especially with emails, I try to block time. So sometimes it's once every hour, but even that is too often. So I try to do it like once every couple hours. Sometimes I just look at them in the morning. And they say in this book, first 90 minutes of the day, you should avoid looking at your emails, because then you're allowing other people to dictate how your day is going to be. Instead, you should figure out how efficient you want your day to be. Write out all your to-dos and everything. You focus on the tasks that you want to get accomplished, the most important tasks in the first 90 minutes of your day, because that's usually when people have the most energy. And then you look at your emails. I tend to just like to look at my emails. I wake up early, before 5 a.m. So a lot of times I'll just glance to see if there's an offer that came in. Like this morning, there was an offer. So I just wanted to delegate it out, and before I went to my exercise class this morning. And but I don't want to focus on my emails. So I'll focus on my emails just a little bit later on. And so they say, whatever you do, don't let other people dictate how your day is going to be. And that is, you could get lost in your inbox. And also set up rules for your email. In fact, I wrote out all the folders where I want emails to automatically go into. And because you have, normal emails, like some that are priorities. So, if you work for someone, like you have a boss, those emails are really important. So those are going to be priority. and you could have, you know, an alarm or something go off, or, you know, it just has a flag. So anyway, there are lots of keys with emails, and there's lots of tips that like CEOs do. A lot of CEOs, first of all, they have other people answering their emails for them. Others, when they do a response, they do it a very quick response. They don't do a dissertation because they don't have time. So they do like a one-line response, or, you know, just a one little paragraph. And just remember, there's a lot of times people, when you do a response and you keep the door open, many times people feel like they need to respond to your email. So kind of close the door if you can, you know, just say, oh, thank you for your email, and here's a response. And I wish you the very best, you know, have a great new year. Like you're trying to end it, rather than don't ask them another question, because it's going to keep going and going and going. I've had that happen before, and I'm like, ah. So that's one thing. And then also in this book, they talk about how emails, you know, you could say the same thing in person to someone. It will come across when you're in person as more positive than if you say the exact same thing in an email. So in an email, be careful about your tone, because I know, like my staff knows me, where I get so many emails where I don't necessarily, you know, do smiley faces and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, you know, a lot of times I don't say thank you right after, because I just get the email, and, you know, it's just another email back saying thank you. So I try to tell them ahead of time, just don't, you know, expect thank yous from me, but know that I appreciate you. And then once in a while, I will say thank you, you know, or great job, or whatever. But you know, it's a good thing once in a while to make sure that you tone the email, you know, in a better way, so the recipient will know it's a positive thing. And you should have strict times for checking your emails, and that's called batching. So, you know, what they recommend is you do like morning, afternoon, and like before you go home. Now with administrative staff, it's a little bit more difficult, because you're doing like escrow work or loan processing or whatever type of work you're in. But you could still designate certain times. So if you're working on a project, you're not being interrupted. Really, really important. You take those like instant reminders that an email has hit your inbox off. Turn those off, those notifications. That is the kiss of death, because, you know, even if it's not a sound, but it's, you just kind of see something coming in on your screen, it interrupts your thought process in whatever project you're working on. So I've heard that from so many books. So I have turned off all like alerts. So they really highly recommend against that. Yeah, studies show that people who are constantly checking their emails are a lot more stressed out than the other people that are not constantly checking their emails. That kind of makes sense to me. Also, they say checking our emails constantly creates a project paradox. And what that means is that you feel as if you're, like when you go to your emails, you're constantly feeling as if you're getting something accomplished, but you really aren't. You know, it'd be better just to write out, like what I do is I have a day timer. And I don't know if you could see that. I'm still kind of old school, but I write out like 8 items and stuff like that, and I prioritize and who I'm going to delegate them out to. And, you know, you can always do this on a cell phone or in an app. But then I put A1, A2, A3, A4, you know, and I go down that list so that I stay focused. Now, if I was going back and forth to emails, I would lose my focus. So, you know, but then I usually have time blocking. I do a lot of time blocking, and a lot of times I like my Apple Watch. And so I do time blocking in 30-minute segments. And so I try to figure do projects, or I do my prospecting in like hour-long segments. So just little things that, you know, I do to motivate myself and everything. You know, that's really the basic thing about this book. So now you don't have to read the book.